I practice a level of like cocky humility. You know what I'm saying? Like cocky about the shit I do.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Cocky about the shit I do know. But I'm open because, this guy across from me can teach me something that he can help to improve the processes.
Man, on this podcast today, we're going over something that everyone has and everyone battles. It's limiting factors of success. It could be a family member. It could be an internal blueprint that you're trying to get away from. It could be an outside source. It could be somebody, putting their limiting factors on you and you bringing them in and not busting through them. But today, we're going to go over Maurice and John and myself on how you can bust through them and personal stories that we've battled through in our own right to reach better success. And so I can't wait to get into the show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Business and Biceps. And you better wake your ass up, because on today's show, we're going to go through something that everybody has a problem with at some point or other. It's limiting factors of success. And I got two amazing individuals to go over this topic with me, Maurice Clarett and Mr. John Fosco. And I can't wait to get into the topics. But first, we're going to go over, you got to make sure that you check out Robinhood. It's an amazing trading app that has no fees and that they want to give you because you love business and biceps. At biceps.robinhood.com, you can get a free share of stock, whether it's Apple, Ford, or Sprint. You must download Robinhood today, and you can learn how to trade in and out of the market with no fees. And of course, it's brought to you by maxeffortmuscle.com. You better build a stack, any 3 products for $100 with a free t-shirt, or any 5 products for $160 with a free t-shirt, with the Ronda Rousey women's line about to drop here this week. And I'm gonna pass it off to John Fosco for the newest one. Go ahead, Johnny.
Yeah. So podcastinfluencer.com. Obviously, we have been doing business and biceps for about 2 years now. And the podcasting space has exploded. Many of our listeners have become podcasters. We're very proud of them. And many companies are moving their radio budgets into podcasting. So because of our various backgrounds and previous businesses, we decided to set up an agency that supports the spotlighting of podcasters and also supports the navigation of the space for companies looking to advertise in podcasting. So once again, the URL is podcastinfluencer.com, and we are going to take you through this business journey just like we did with Max Effort. And we feel we are on the edge of the frontier of a new form of media, and we're very excited.
No question. Make sure you guys don't just listen. Make sure you subscribe. Right now, if you're on iTunes, send it to your friends, subscribe, leave us a positive comment, and only a 5-star review, because that's what helps us keep in the top 10, fellas, because we've been killing it lately in the business category, which has been awesome. But all right, to the topic, limiting factors of success. What I always like to do as I kind of open the show is, get your take on, when I say that to you, John, limiting factors of success, what's the first thing that kind of pops in your mind?
Belief or lack of belief. We all say we want to be successful. I want to be successful. I want to have the car. I want to have the house. I want to have the wife. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to own a business. These things are easy to say, right? The limiting factor is the belief within yourself that you can do it. Because those things that I just named, they require so much attention and so much work and so much time involved that simply saying them is going to get you shit, right? Doing them for a long, committed period of time is how you are going to achieve them. But you will never, ever begin to start on that path if you don't believe inside yourself that you are capable. So when we say these things, a lot of times we're trying to impress our friends or get the approval of our family and be like, oh, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. Well, I would advise taking the pressure off yourself and stop telling people what you're going to do and start doing. And if they ask, say, you know what, I'm working to become a fill in the blank. I'm working to do this. So Cory, I think the answer to your question is belief or lack of belief.
Yeah, Mo, go ahead, buddy. What's your thoughts when I hit you with limiting factors of success?
Yeah, well, one is many, both from personal experience and just through seeing others. I think I won't piggyback on John, but I believe that. But I believe the biggest, or one of the biggest, in the top three. I'll just say one because I don't want to steal what you may have.
In store,
Yeah,
my production, you mean? No, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. I don't want to steal too much because I can riff on this thing for about a half hour. But women are women for men, and I'm assuming that we have more male
Oh, shit.
listeners.
Here we go.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Men being preoccupied with women, chasing women, boyfriend, girlfriend, too many girlfriends, too much sex, too much of their life occupied around women. I've seen women not ruin, that's the wrong word to say. I've seen men occupy their time chasing women, and from them chasing women become so skewed off of the beaten path that the women that they keep in their lives and the sexual desire that they have for women in many different fashions, those things become very, very those things come to my mind when you say limiting factors. And I'm pretty sure, for all of the listeners, all the guys out there, everybody's been head over heels for one woman, or everybody was supposed to go to the gym, but they had sex last night, so they don't want to get to the gym, or the guy who's preoccupied, the insecure guy with the, hey, where are you at, who you around, what are you doing? All of that stuff is distractions. And until I got my life in check, and until I quit worrying about my woman 24/7, 365, and where she was at and who she was with, once I got to that space where I didn't just really give a shit, it's just all about trusting myself and trusting her, and not living in such an insecure space, I was able to free up and do what I'm doing now and do more of what I do, just because I really don't care. I don't control people. And once I kind of got to that space, mentally, I've been great ever since. So I would say women. What about yourself?
So, Mo, you think, I'm going to ask you a question on that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You think that and I don't think we've ever talked about this before. So you were concerned about where your girl was here, there, whoever she was around. Like that was a worry of yours on a regular basis.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it distracted you from being more productive.
Yes. So,
Okay.
so you push your insecurities on other people, right?
Sure.
And so, if you have a mentality of like, let me play, let me get some extra ass, let me, have sex with another girl, then you automatically put those thoughts on other people. And so much of my life, be it through high school and college, a lot of my life in California consisted of that, always having sex with women, ripping and running, enjoying life. And so you get to look at the world as if all girls are whorish or they do whorish things. And so when you get a girlfriend, you're like, oh, I initially like, I hope my girlfriend isn't a whore, and I hope she doesn't do this on behind my back. And the insecurities jump off, and you place them on the other individual, and it's not fair because they are not those people. Mm-hmm. And then when you get into a space where you just say, I don't control people, and a person will do what they want to do, and you understand that clearly, and you have no control over what a person does. If a person wants to manipulate and cheat on you, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't control it anyway, Reese.
It's going to happen anyways. And Maurice, what I wanted to ask you, because that's something that I struggled with earlier in life, and I'm sure many listeners, male or female, struggle with. Do you believe that when you get into an intimate relationship, trust does not need to be earned? It should automatically be given and only pulled back if there is action that supports doing so? Or what's your philosophy on that?
Well, I would say yes, and I would just get into the space where I was about to say. I think it starts with yourself though, and getting to a space where you have to emotionally work with yourself to say, why do I feel this way? Why is there this distrust? And when you get into a space mentally where you say, I don't own this person, you know what I'm saying?
Uh,
I don't control, they're not my slave, they don't do what I say, just a mutual respect in the relationship stands on a mutual respect. Then it's not like I give to you because you give this to me or give like there's none of that. There's I respect myself. I trust her. Like just like how you say, I trust her independently of everything. I believe that she's going to do the right thing. And if, like you say, and if something goes wrong, then the dynamics change, or we need to have a conversation about it. But and like I think initially when you start off with somebody, there's like that romantic desire, or this is my person, this is my lady, this is mine. Like you don't even fucking own your kids. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
they're the world's. You know what I'm saying? They're their own people. And I talk to you, and for those, even if this is your first thing, like just not being attached. And even though there's an emotional attachment, like nobody want their girl getting banged out by another dude. You don't want that happening in your head.
Of
You feel
course
I'm coming
not.
from?
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
you know what I'm saying. But when you
I love our show. Keep going.
you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, just go ahead and bang my girl, no problem. I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Come
So,
on in, man.
like, so I'm not saying like I don't have that emotion. You don't want it to happen, but being
But it can't control.
disciplined.
But it can't control your thoughts over
No,
top of the other
no.
ones.
And you can't control it. If it's gonna happen,
Yes.
it's gonna happen, man.
Think like this. We all have friends or people we know whose lives revolve around their women in some capacity, right?
Or
It
men,
just
vice versa. You know what I mean? There's girls that are the same way.
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
And it just consumes them. Sorry, women, but I just assume I'm like, I assume there's more male listeners, right? And I apologize if that I come off like sexist or anything. But when you're just preoccupied with another person, and the greatest thing that you can do is just to be free, allow them to be free, and you mutually love each other and want to be with each other just because. But it can't be like this controlling desire, because that will limit you and distract you from developing the vision that you have for your life. You know what I'm saying? Like the vision that you have for your life does not consist of you chasing a woman or a man around 24/7. And so the woman becomes a limiting factor. The sex becomes a limiting factor. All the things that the woman is around, the extra money you spend on the woman, the trips that you take, the vacations, and all that other stuff that comes in that space becomes a limiting factor. And so that's all I had to say in regards. That's just my opinion on the biggest limiting factor that I see with guys.
I think it was real good, Reese, and you're very honest about something that sounds like you battled off and on and you got a handle on now. So I appreciate that. I think the listener will
Yes.
too. Mine, I think when it comes to mind is always like, and I think it's part of how I grew up, like not being worthy. I think that that's something like I've always been a pretty confident person. I think that helped me kind of get past that, but almost not believing that what's happening is allowed to happen. And I had a big problem with that for a long time, like that I had to get past, like, hey, just because of this or that, or whether how you were brought up or what you was able to like, that's part of what my narrative was, like to change it all. But even through that process, even though I'm telling myself I'm about to change it for multiple generations, I'm about to da 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 da, and I believe it all and it's happening, but you still have that internal blueprint of, well, no one's really ever done this. This is completely different than what you've ever kind of witnessed or seen. This, and it's like that internal fight of, am I? I didn't go to college. There's all these things that can beat on your brain as you're trying to kind of forge in this new area for your family, and understanding that, giving myself like no constraints to be able to break through these ceilings that would try to kind of push down on me from time to time. That was one thing I think I battled through for a while. And I went to this this guy named T. Harv Eker, which is an epic name. I mentioned him before on the podcast. He had this book, I forget what it's called, but you can look him up. He's been writing books forever. And it was called like something about your blueprint, your internal blueprint. And it's like, from the people that are teaching you, from your family, your parents, your environment, like there's this certain thing that's just kind of, inside of you that, is natural. That's why people continue to go in the same cycle. That's why the same thing happens. Like, if one guy if the grandpa doesn't graduate from high school, a lot of times the dad doesn't graduate from high school, and then it's the kid's turn. Like, hopefully he, it's like, or same with abuse in family. There's all these things that continue in these cycles, and it's really because of the environment and the blueprint. And I think that once that guy kind of explained it to me, I was at this live event, and I was just maybe 100 people there listening, and I was like, yeah, I got that. And the only way I'm going to get outside of that is if I kind of rewrite the blueprint. And that's kind of the thing that I kind of, and that was a long time ago, like early 2000s when I kind of heard that, and it just kind of sparked it with me. And like this weekend, having my son who's 12 years old, I'm going to have him stocking t-shirts at the booth, and I'm bringing him to the event on Friday with me. Like, I want him to see like this is how we operate. These are the kind of things that are happening, understanding the business, even though he's never going to understand it all the way this age, but like just letting him like see how dad does things. Like that's really important to me. So his blueprint is different.
Yeah.
And so that not worthy part was something I think I had to fight through for a while.
You know what, Cory? I think when we grow up, we see what our family does, how they operate, and we see how they speak, and we hear how they speak. And obviously, children are very observant. And my mom always taught me, like, the word deserve is a very dangerous word. Like, you got to be careful of the word deserve, because I think what happens is a lot of the time people, they don't believe that they deserve better, because there could be a family tree that only got to a certain point. And if you go to bust through the ceiling of the family tree, even though they may say they want you to, a lot of people are not emotionally developed enough to be able to support it, because they don't understand it. So what that does is I think it compresses people. What's up, Mo?
I was about to ask you, do you believe, and that when you were just talking, it naturally came to my mind that, do you think the resistance comes from the next person's success helping you to view your failures or where you've given up at?
I absolutely do. Like, I can say, just from my own experience, that I heard from the man closest to me growing up that the first big move I made, I was told directly to me, you're not going to make it. And for a 20-year-old kid to hear that from the most influential man in his life,
that's powerful.
No, that's fucked up that he said that.
Yeah, he looked at me. And it's to answer your question, Mo, I believe it's because I was threatening what he believed his success level was at a certain age, and I was pushing up on it, and it immediately turned him from, I'm going to support this aggressive young man, to like, you're threatening the stories I've been telling for 40 years.
Do you think you lose the dynamic of the relationship because so much may be rooted in I financially do better or do something that's by me or below me? As you're talking, I'm just thinking, like, why would a person say that? And I'm just putting myself in the shoes, and I'll say, okay, if I'm somebody's father, uncle, older cousin, brother, and the young guy who's coming up, if he passes me, I don't think that he's going to respect me the same way, because I may be rooted in things and social status and everything like that, when you just may respect him as an individual, and it has nothing to do with what you accomplish.
Right.
Makes sense?
Yeah, dude. Like again, to my mom, she always say, it has nothing to, it's not about you. It's not about you. So what I'm doing as a young man, who this person is, who says I'm not going to make it, what I'm doing is not about them, right? But they make it about them. And in that process, when they make it about them and they try to cut me down because they make it about them and I make them feel insecure, not only are they planting the seeds of destruction for the relationship, but they're literally laying out on a table their insecurity. Because here's what happens when there's any kind of control involved. Let's call it financial control. When somebody thinks that someone who they've financially controlled their whole life is going to escape that control, then they, I believe, have this moment of clarity where they're like, oh, fuck, I have no way to attach him to me because I don't pay for his car. I don't, he doesn't live under my roof. I don't put food on the table, quote unquote. So shit, I'm going to have to act like a respectful human being because this person's about to go do it himself. You know what I'm saying? And then they're like,
Gotcha, yep.
they've never operated that way, and it scares the shit out of them. So that's what I think it's rooted in.
I wonder if, and I think we could all speak to this, like a lot of people kind of just, I think, see where they grow up or how their family acts and just say, I'm just going to follow suit. Like they don't think they can really break that cycle, or they have to listen to that uncle, or they take it in so deep that they believe it, right? And I think that everybody that listens to this podcast is had one.
Cory, can I say something real quick to what you just said? Because I want to get the thought out.
Sure.
I think young people in a family, they don't qualify who they look up to. They just look up to the people because they're in the position of father, uncle, mother. They do not meant to qualify those people. I think that's why that happens.
No, I agree. And I think that that's kind of what I wanted to get. Like, what point, and maybe that's kind of what you just went over, John, but I'd like to hear from Reese too, is like, at what point did you guys realize, like, no disrespect to dad, uncle, or grandpa or whatever, but like, I can kind of see way further past getting out of this situation, the life I want for myself, and that it's like, I'm not going to let my environment essentially limit my success, because that, I think, is one of the most major keys.
Well, for me, I tell you, it was twofold for me. The first one was football, and that happened on accident. I actually went to jail as a kid. I went to the Juvenile Justice Center, and I got out the center, and I was on house arrest for a summer, going from my 8th, going into my 9th grade year. And
you was on house arrest in 8th grade, Reese? This motherfucker.
I've been part of the system a long time.
Oh, my man. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what ended up happening was there was a gentleman who basically introduced me kind of like to real weightlifting. His name was Mr. Roland Smith, and he's currently the Wise Shoes strength and conditioning coach right now. And he had me lifting weights, but when I went out there and I played football, and I was like, oh shit, I can get out of here regardless of what anybody says. I was able to go out here and to compete against guys older than me. And when I had seen other guys getting scholarship offers who were 4 years older than me, and when I was able to do it, like there wasn't a shadow of a doubt. Nobody could tell me that I wasn't about to take football to get me out. Like there wasn't even a shadow of a doubt at 14 that I was going somewhere, even if it was like to a local school. I was able to do something. But fast forward that when I went to prison, like even when I was in prison, like there wasn't a shadow of a doubt that I would do something once I got out. And I don't, excuse me, I don't know how it was engineered. I think the confidence came from reading so much and believing and visualizing so much, but it just wasn't a shadow of a doubt. And I don't say this in any arrogant way. Even the stuff that I'm doing now, I don't even surprise myself. I actually don't even think I'm doing a bunch or shit. I think that there's just so much and so many limitless possibilities to what it is that I can accomplish. As long as I stay disciplined and simple. And I'll just say this for the listener, any person who's out there, like that spirit that you have, or that spirit of ambition, that spirit of belief, like you have to pay attention to that shit, because that's like a real feeling inside your spirit and inside your soul. You just actually have to find the vehicle to express yourself. I just think that, the different things that we do express the energy that we have inside of us. And so I would say, and it's funny we're talking about limiting factors, but in order to actualize and realize that energy that you have to eliminate the limiting factors. You have to eliminate being lazy. You have to eliminate the extra women. You have to eliminate the shitty food if you're in the training industry or the health and wellness industry. You have to eliminate all those things and make your life as simple as possible. And simple doesn't mean easy. Simple just means simple. It's work to make things simple. And that's when you begin to say, okay, I'm about to discover this thing that's inside of me, and I'm about to continuously develop it. I'm about to go inside of me, because that's where my my gift is at. But when I cut out the distractions of all of the bullshit, the gossip, the hateful conversations, and all of the limiting factors, and I categorize limiting factors as anything that's distracting you from the vision that you have in your life. When you eliminate all that shit and just and transcend that, and I think that's really important. And I remember I used to hear Dr. David Hawkins talk about a lot in Power versus Force. And there's a scale, and I know I'm getting off track a little bit, but there's a scale for behavior based upon consciousness. And excuse the car in the background, but there's a scale in his book based upon consciousness and behaviors that go with it. And identifying the scale and the words used and the behaviors used and the actions used and being able to identify them, but being able to transcend and go above them and to stay above them and understand that I don't want to operate in those confines, then you miss so much of these limiting factors. And you naturally attract the better things in your life that helps you to accelerate to get to your vision and your goals and your dreams faster than if you engaged in all of the bullshit. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, man. I think all that makes sense, and it's like I look at the root of it, right? And kind of to what Cory was saying, it's like how do we do this? And I think depending on your background, right? Like, so I come from an Italian American background. You literally have to fight internally to maintain your identity, because what your family does by default is they try to make you, hey, John the athlete, or John the business guy. They try to define you. They try and they try to put you in a box, and the family's big and the family's tight, and they try to identify you, and they want you to live up to that identity. Well, when you're trying to live up to an identity, obviously you're fighting your own identity inside, because we all know what that is. But I encourage everybody to fight to preserve their identity, because if you're trying to please others, you're not following the path that pleases you. And the path that pleases others does not bring sustained happiness. It doesn't bring sustained joy, and it doesn't bring enlightenment, right? If you fight to preserve your identity and follow your path, all these things are going to be just a little bit easier, and you have to just release. You have to release your feelings of caring what these other people are going to say. Listen, I'll walk in Christmas, I'll walk in Thanksgiving, and if I don't think like my family, hey, I'm good with that. I'm good. They might not be good with it, but I'm good with it, because I know I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm simply fighting to maintain my identity, as everybody has the God-given right to do. And I would suggest every listener does too.
Yeah. As you were talking, John, and I don't know if this is exactly limiting factors, but the thing that kept popping into my head of what didn't hold me back was going to experience what was normal for my area. Meaning, like, I went and got a job at the sawmill to stack lumber, which I looked up to the guy who ran that company, because when I got to like 40 or 50 million, I believe. And so he was like a really good businessman in the area. And so even though I was there stacking lumber for 10 hours after going to community college, I was really watching the way, as much as I could, how he was operating, right? And then going to experience, obviously, coal mining, which has been a huge part of my narrative. But deeply rooted in those two jobs was where I would have been for 30 years if I stayed in my town and I did that. And it's always never any disrespect to the guys I work with, who are always super nice to me. They push me hard, but I knew day one of both those jobs that they were a means to an end, and that it was never for me. And that I started then to believe what was going on in my head, because I'm kind of a brat like this. I refuse to be unhappy. I refuse to do stuff that I don't like to do. I will do stuff I have to do. That's goes without being said. But long term, I know exactly. Look, we got one shot at this life, right? And we have one shot to do what we really want to do. And so yes. I really internalized those things, paying attention to how people operated, what they talked about, observing like how happy or unhappy they were. And dude, there's like my stepdad is about to retire next year as a coal miner. He fucking loves it. And he's made a good living. He's, and he's done very well for himself. So like there is people in those professions that absolutely love them. So I don't want to talk down on it because that's where my roots is. But at the end of the day, it was not for me and I knew that. But I wanted to experience it to open my mind up because it was one of those things where I was like, I need to know what these feel like. So then I have perspective on trying to break through the ceiling of being this personal trainer, fitness guy, whatever I was going to end up, trying to search out and do. And it was like, I didn't want to not know what it felt like. That's the only way I can explain it. I wanted to experience it for myself. So I knew that, hey, these feelings that you have about fitness and belief in yourself and all these, like, I experienced those and I thought, man, I know I can always come back and do this because I was good at both of them straight up. Like it was natural for me. It's where I'm from.
Cory, let me
my
ask you a
DNA.
question real quick though on that because
Sure.
you talk about your stepfather love it. Do you really think and to me this kind of goes to honesty with yourself not you but
Yeah.
as a limiting factor. Do you think anybody loves coal mining?
Yeah, surprisingly, yes, because it's like
you honestly believe. I mean, I know they can say it like someone could say, "I love roofing or construction," but
yeah,
do you believe?
I've never yeah
it?
the passion that he talks about from the way and he's worked in multiple different mines, so I would say
Do
like
you think it's pride or it's passion?
I don't know, man. It's funny because like I don't think he has a passion to own a coal mine. You know what I mean? Like that's not his jam. Like I don't think he wanted to be a business owner. I know he enjoys managing projects, and I think he's just it's like so ingrained from where we're from. It's like I don't know. I've never heard him talk about it in a negative way.
I can answer it. Well, I can't answer for him, but I can just
Yeah.
speculate. And I used to have my mother used to be with a guy who and they were together for 10 years, but he used to work at General Motors, and it was just so much pride in the process, in the work that he was doing, in the fellowship with the people, and everything that encompassed. Like the job was almost just something that they did together. But I think a lot of it was the brotherhood, the friendships,
Agreed.
the holidays going over with your friend's house. You kind of get where I'm coming from.
There's like a camaraderie, I think. But
Is that not in and of itself people who are limited by limiting factors? Because it sounds like they're making the best of their situation, but they may not have ever looked outside that situation as an option.
No, that's
Okay,
that's
so-
a great.
Cory,
I got one for you. So that's a great. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. So Randy did actually leave the coal mine and went to operate as a manager. Like I think he managed a couple different like fast food chains or something. Like he went into actual management and actually found out, at least in that venture he tried. And I think it was for about 4 to 5 years. I have to ask him because I haven't asked him about this in a while. And he missed the coal mine and missed that world. So he actually went back and has been there since I've known him. So like,
But do you think it's because people are creatures of habit, right? Like it's what he knows, and there's a comfort there.
yeah, but I think that I don't think that he was uncomfortable with the other thing because I think he did well. I just don't think he liked it. I think that he tried to go out. So it's like, it's hard sometimes to understand, but there's guys that get up every day and go to that sawmill and can't wait to grade that lumber and can't wait to pick the lumber out, and they went for forestry, and they can't wait to go out into the woods and grade the trees and make sure they're part of the process that's cut down and brought to the mill. And same thing with coal guys. They can't, I'm not saying it's an extremely high percentage, but it definitely does exist for sure.
I say this. I think they're of the generation also of doing meaningful work. I will say that. And just stuff that they can take pride in. But I want to make sure that we distinguish. I think a lot of times when we talk and we may look on the past, we speak from a perspective where our dreams are easier to actualize because we have possibilities, technology, people, just the whole operation of us being able to do something different or being a real thing. As you two were talking, I was like, okay, this guy probably started in the 70s or 80s or whenever he
Yep.
started doing coal mining. Like, what was really possible, or what could you think was possible, or do you even begin to think that you can manifest something based upon the resources that you had? And I've been through, it's 88 counties. I always say I've been to probably 66 of them in Ohio. And when you go to some of these smaller towns with very limited resources, I'm not even sure people can conceive of doing anything further than what they see, just based upon circumstances. So,
But isn't that the definition of a limiting factor?
yeah, I didn't even
Well,
realize that. Yeah,
so what's interesting, John, is I agree it can be, but it's like some people they're not interested in anything past that. Maybe
I see. I don't.
you
Yeah,
know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
this is where we. Yeah, and this is what's great about the show. I don't believe in that they're not interested in anything because at least from, and I can only speak from experience. There are people I see people take supreme pride when they work with their hands, like meaningful
Yeah, of
work,
course.
like Maurice said, and they love to line up roofing shingles, and I believe that. I believe that. But they also, on the flip side, and I do not want to generalize, I'm just speaking from what I've seen, talk about the man, and they talk about money, and they talk about how it's never enough, and they talk about the wife, and they just talk about a lot of general unhappiness. Sure, they take pride in their work, but I think they limit themselves because it is possible to do many different things and be happy in many different places. And I'm not saying they're all not happy. And I'd also just go in one other direction. Like, in the 80s, in the 70s, that was the dawn of technology. That was the dawn of computer. I think in every era, there is opportunity. It's shaped differently. It looks differently and it presents itself differently, and it has to be seized
Well, I would say
differently.
with my personal experience, John, I'd never heard any negativity from the workplace. I had from my dad, my
How
actual
much how much drinking did you see going on from those guys, man? After
well,
afterward,
but
I mean,
not in my household though. That's the thing. Neither my dad or my stepdad drank or smoked.
yeah, no, I don't mean your household.
Yeah,
I just
but I'm
mean
saying,
like
but that's from my
after.
experience. So I have two experiences.
Yeah.
I have dad who was coal mining for 16 years, who just didn't like it straight up, and then tried multiple businesses and they didn't work, and then ended up in truck driving and actually was okay with that. But he still, I know he wished he could have done his own thing, right? He could never break through. And then I got Randy, who's my stepdad, who literally, did coal mining for a really long time, busted out, did some management stuff for a while, came back for it, and then every time we talk about it, there's this, the only other thing I ever hear him talk about in the same manner is weightlifting, and that was
But
never like
but
a
it kills
pursuit.
you. I mean, coal mining kills you. It kills you. It takes years off your life.
Kills some, for sure. Black lung.
I mean, I mean, he probably talks about it because if you look
But
at
Alaskan crab fishing kills you too. But motherfuckers still like it. You know what I mean? It just depends. So does football. It just depends
or they don't have another opportunity that they see,
that
which
they
is
seeked
the
out.
definition of a limiting factor. That's kind of my whole
But is
point.
it a limiting factor if you're not seeking it? I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
Okay, so I'll go back to what I said first, right?
Yeah.
Belief. If they
Yeah.
don't believe that they're capable of anything else than what they've seen from their forefathers,
Yeah.
then yes, I do believe it is a limiting factor.
can we say another? Can I plug in another limiting factor right here?
Please, Reese.
And the fact that just people is two different things, or they kind of go hand in hand. Fucking lazy asses and excuses.
There
Yes,
you go.
yes, and yes.
And I'll just say this, and not to say it in a disrespectful way, but the only way I can say it, that when somebody begins to talk about possibility or what could be done or what needs to be done, if your brain automatically shifts to a place of attacking why something can't be done, then you're inherently building in excuses,
Right.
on why you can sit on your ass or why you don't want to figure out or problem solve. They say complaining and excuses start when thinking stops. And
Right.
and yeah, that was a good one. Put that motherfucker
Yeah,
on.
you just dropping quotes all over the place all the time. Reese.
put
No, listen, that ain't got shit. That ain't got shit on. They made my man drink the hemlock, but that's pretty good.
No, hey,
Okay,
no,
okay.
that one was good. They just said, "No, made my man drink the hemlock."
Fucking
But that's the truth though, because that's when when the insecurity pops up though, it goes right to people hitting with excuses because they know there's going to be uncomfortable to try to reach the goals that they want. So it's boom, excuse after excuse after excuse. That's everybody's first defense, right? That's why when that stuff tries to enter my mind, I try to first I don't verbalize it, and secondly I just go, motherfucker, that's stupid.
Well, yeah, and the question is always, what you going to do about it, right? You come into a bad situation where you're making excuses or you're complaining. What you eventually have to get there anyways, right? What are you going to do about it? So you can complain about it for 3 hours. You can bitch and moan like a little pussy for 3 hours, or you can get to the point that you are eventually going to have to get to. How are you going to solve it? So let's eliminate the complaining, the laziness, the bullshit, and get right to the solution, because you are going to have to get there anyways, unless you want to be on your motherfucking couch your whole life, dude. Straight up.
I'm scared, John, but I'm scared.
Well, but you're a bitch then, motherfucker. Like, stay home.
Hey, fuck you, Bosco.
Hey, stay home.
I'm not sleeping on my mom's couch no more.
Yeah, stay home then, dude. You know what I'm saying? You either make the choice to do something about it, or stay the fuck home, be on your couch, and be a baby, because every single one of us have to do it for ourselves. Nobody can do it for us. That will never change. It don't matter how much money you inherit. Nobody can do it for us. And when I say do it for us, I mean happiness and fulfill yourself, fulfill your inner potential, and fulfill your life. Nobody can. We must, all individually. So if you're sitting on your couch saying that, then stay on that motherfucker until you feel different. Because if you walk out that door, nothing's going to fucking change.
But John, so-and-so didn't give me an opportunity. They didn't put me on. But
what you going to do about it, bitch?
That's what I'm saying. Like
that's the question you got to ask yourself. Right? Yeah, but that's the consummate answer.
Well, I'll also tell you this. This is another limiting factor. And they should probably slow this motherfucker down when I say this, because I see so much, so much is halted in this, the I don't feel like it mentality, and understanding that how you feel and what needs to be done are two different things.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. So
I don't think anybody feels like getting up and busting their ass every day of the week. And listen, we were making deals yesterday. Yesterday was fucking Sunday. While everyone else was fucking watching whatever the fuck they're watching, we are making deals. We're setting up trips. It's like, it's about who the fuck you want to be and what the fuck you're never going to feel like fucking writing out a proposal on Sunday. You're never going to feel like, oh, I just want to do that. But then there are people who do it, and they find the inherent internal motivation to do it. And then they get the result. But if you watch Game of Thrones all day on Sunday, you're going to be watching Game of Thrones all day on Sunday, every Sunday for the next decade until you get it.
Hey, so right there, John, I'm going to go to Reese. Reese, when you have that, like, what's a way that the listener can get through that? Because it happens to everybody, right? Like a little bit. So it's like you don't want to do something or go out of your way or whatever. Your first inherent thing is, nah, I ain't trying to do that. But you need. Is there like a process or something that we can take away?
Yeah, it's really it's self-talk, man. Life is a consistent process of self-talk. But it comes down, and John said it in a more aggressive way just now, but it comes
John's
down.
So aggressive.
Yeah, but it comes down, man, to what is the vision for your life, And I know it sounds so cliche, so simple, so redundant, but there's a reason that all successful people say the same shit. If you're getting up every day, and I have a fucking 4-foot a dry erase board and another 2-foot one on another wall, and you're looking at your goals and you're serious about accomplishing and becoming who you want to become, then you're going to be like, okay, I have to do this regardless of how I feel, because if I don't, I'll watch Game of Thrones every fucking Sunday. You know what I'm saying? and I'll be a Game of Thrones motherfucker. And nothing wrong with the show. Appreciate, I've never watched it because I always figure like I can do something better with my time, and that's no offense to the show, right? Because I watch Power, and I spend time doing that. But in regards to this,
but Mo, that's negative, man. You can't be watching Power. You gotta get that shit out your life.
Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, you're right about that. I can't even deny.
You gotta put that. Hey, you gotta put that on the couch too, Reese.
Yeah, you
can put it on the couch, throw it away.
You gotta get it out the closet, Mo.
You know what? I put like this. I'm going to take that challenge because I'm gonna tell you what I did yesterday, and I'm gonna just switch gears. Yesterday, I talked to my guy, Doug Evans, and Doug was the guy who started Juicero. And I met Doug in Nantucket, and we went, it was like, who was all out there? There was fucking Tony Evans and all these fucking world leaders and dudes who started fucking Microsoft. All these motherfuckers were like rich as shit. It was like fucking 40 private planes. Everybody's getting chauffeured around in fucking BMWs. And I'm like the poorest motherfucker on the island, right? So,
yes.
So, I get there and I met Doug, but Doug was a guy who started Juicero. You see like Tony Robbins, Beyonce, and all these guys, but we formed a relationship. And yesterday, he had called me and we've kept in touch ever since then. And, they raised like $150 million out in Silicon Valley and they've done amazing things with it. And he said he's moved on to some other things, but in a nutshell, and this has to do with what you just said with Power. And he was like, man, Maurice, you're living right, you're living healthy, you're doing good, but you still have one fucking thing that you can't take control over. And he said, man, that's fucking food. And he was like, when we were out in Nantucket, you couldn't even go vegan for a fucking weekend. And he was like, if you're supposed to be supremely disciplined in your spiritual life and in your personal life, man, you have to eat some of the purest food and these things to basically keep you in optimal health. And so when you said that about Power, like even though you said in a joking way, it's serious because like I'm on this journey to eliminate all things distracting and entertaining. And even though I love the show or I love the entertainment from the show, I do need to get rid of that. And I don't know what that has to do with anything, but those may be my limiting factors. That time can be filled with something else, doing something productive, but also I can be consuming the food that fucking keep me alive a little longer instead of fucking getting chronic disease and shit.
Right. It's halftime. Right. Hey yo, it's halftime.
All right, y'all, it's halftime, but I'm solo because John Fosco just left me. He's not here to even defend himself. It's okay. All right, here's the deal. I've been trading lots of stock lately. Not as much as John Fosco, but I've been in and out. Actually, I'm going to go to the app right now. I got to put my thumb on there so I can touch the ID. The Robinhood app. There's no trading fees. And what I love about Robinhood, is that they want to give you guys a free share of stock. If you just go to, Jeremy, I'm talking to you, to biceps.robinhood.com, you could get a free share of Apple, Ford, or Sprint. And here's the thing. With Robinhood, you could trade that stock, you could get a different stock, and basically you can learn how it works. Now, I know all you hear about is crypto, and you can't get it yet, but it is about to be available soon. You can see it on the app, and it's there. Robinhood has been awesome. I've been using them for a few months now. I got rid of E-Tray. Johnny got rid of Scottrade. We moved all our money to Robinhood. And once again, make sure you redeem your free stock. Download the app, biceps.robinhood.com, and get that free share of stock at Apple, Ford, or Sprint. Like, it's free, y'all. You cannot pass it up. Now, if you guys need some supplements, we built the whole podcast around maxeffortmuscle.com. Make sure you build a stack. Now you might be asking yourself, what is building a stack? I'm going to tell you right now. You build a stack with any 3 products and we give you a free t-shirt for $100, or any 5 products and a free t-shirt for $160. You can't go wrong. All right, it's time to go back to the show. I'm loving this show. Let's go.
It's halftime. Hey yo, it's halftime.
Yeah, I want to ask a quick question, real quick, Mo, because we made the comment about I made the comment about power. What can you describe to me? Because I think I have a bit of this in me, and this is me just going off a little bit of the 30 for 30 and a lot of it of the things you say. Can you describe a little bit like that? I guess potential demon inside you, that Maurice the Beast thing, that you do all these things to fight against because of where you came from, how you came
Yeah,
up. Like, can you
it's
explain that?
no, it's just a lower nature of thinking, and so much of your thinking inside of the hood is just survival and beast mode and tough guy and machismo and gangster and that, right. And so you subconsciously learn that stuff, and in all of your engagement since birth or since you can remember has some element of it, or some people projecting or posing to be gangster, right. So a lot of my personality and my thinking and the way I view people or treat people was learned from that, and that thinking was then transferred to football, right? And I've never understood that thinking wasn't normal in the normal world. So just like prison isn't normal world, just as the hood isn't a normal world is like middle America. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'll say, what the fuck is normal, Reese?
yeah,
at
like
this
like
point?
middle class
Middle class.
America. Responsible, get up, go to work, take care of your family, do something productive within the community, coach a football team, become an entrepreneur, be a businessman, graduate college. Like that's where like the majority of like America tries to push everybody to basically be a
Sure.
productive citizen. So a lot of my mentality was birthed from that the foolishness and where I grew up. And so oftentimes I'm trying to check myself to not think like that and in my current situation, right? Because it's just destructive. Now the other part about it is that oftentimes you link that you get what you want when you're that aggressive. So it's skillfully turning off and on. Like, in many different instances, I say, man, I can just fucking become a beast and dominate the situation, but it's skillfully and challenging myself to say, hey man, you don't need to think like a fucking idiot. And I also tell you this, man, and one thing I've learned, if you become intimidating to people, or if you walk around with the tough guy thing, people will skillfully get your ass out the way. They'll be like, oh, time to get your ass out of here. We don't want to deal with that. We're not dealing with the tough guy. We don't even want that shit around us. And I always look at like, this is like a bad example, but example that I learned from was like Suge Knight. We're in the fucking music industry, not in the gangster industry. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
He's the ultimate bully.
man, dude. So also David Kenner, who was the lawyer for Death Row, who got like Tupac out of that. I mean, he got Tupac out of jail and Death Row, and he got Snoop Dogg out of jail. When I was in California, Dave was my attorney. He was the guy who helped me to get in the NFL, and he was my buddy. A good guy. But he told me this. This was back in 2004 or 5. We were on what is it called? Fuck. His office was in the Valley, basically, or Encino, somewhere around there. And I was at his desk, and he was like, "Man, Maurice," he said, "I told Suge this, years ago." He said, "Man, you can't have one foot in Hollywood and one foot in Compton." And he said, "I'm telling you right here, you can't have one foot in LA and one foot in Youngstown." And what he was telling me, that you just can't have a divided mind. If you happen to want to be in the business world, then there's ethics and standards and things, and you do have an aggressive part that you have to skillfully put out there. But to answer your original question, that I know myself that that is destructive. And so I'm always trying to not even always, because I've built better habits, but it's checking that thing like, all right, that's your ego. Your fucking ego's talking, because your ego's getting bruised. And so if that helps to answer your question, but I think there's good takeaways for people, because I'm pretty sure if you lift weights on some level, you think you're a tough guy. That's just what I'm saying.
Well,
Like
I get mental cues, man. I have a temper problem, and like I tell people, it don't go away. I just have to learn to manage it better. So I literally feel my body physically up before I go off. So now I've learned, when I heat up like a motherfucking microwave, to take a walk. If I take a walk, I will be successful in not letting that wicked behavior get the best of me. But yeah,
Or John just won't talk. We've been in meetings. John just will quit talking.
Yeah, I'll shut up because I know I'm about to go fucking nuts. Yeah, exactly.
So I know when I'm handling all the conversation, it's and I've already grabbed that it already pissed him off. I know that he's done.
But just think about that. So even me, John. So just think like this: I would get mad and I would get angry, and not knowing what to do with those feelings would cause me let me go self medicate. That would be
Right.
100% it. Which so that limiting factor led to another limiting factor. You know what I'm saying? So like not being able to check one thing leads into something else that you're self medicating or suppressing something, just because I didn't skillfully know how to deal with anger. And if you're to have like massive success, and I'm not there yet, but the guys who I see that are massively successful are guys who have control of their emotions and guys who are skilled in thinking. They just like even keel. Shit doesn't get to them like fucking like super
Poker
easy
face
going.
shit. Yeah.
I got a guy who's super successful that I know, and we talk to on a regular basis. And you can say, man, fuck, I just hit the lotto for $500 million. He'd be like, all right, cool, yeah. You could say,
Right.
fuck, the Titanic just sunk the second ship. He'd be like, okay, cool, that's nice. But how do we get out the situation? This motherfucker. I'm talking about this dude just don't fuck.
Calm and collected.
Dude, he's just fucking, and he's not even trying. He's just disciplined himself to be just easy. You know what I'm saying? And it's one thing that that's a quality I admire in him, that nothing shakes him. He's just always looking for the solution to solve whatever thing.
I was just gonna say he knows there's a solution.
Cory, everything is. He says two things. Reese, how do we solve this? What's the task? What task do we have to do right now to get to the next step? He always say be task driven, assign the task to the appropriate people, put deadlines on stuff, and monitor it. And I tell you, I've experienced more success from that, and just seeing him being emotionally stable. I think that anybody can take it from that. Just not letting shit bother you. You know what I'm saying? Like not giving anybody power, any situation power to like remove you from what you fucking ultimately want to do.
Yeah. Because then you become the puppet.
Your emotions become a major limiting factor.
They become the puppet master, and you're the motherfucking puppet, and you also have to deal with the fallout. The puppet master doesn't, because you're the puppet. Yeah, without a doubt.
What about and I know none of us on the air here have graduated college. I know when I first got into the corporate world, kind of on accident, the company got big enough that we ended up in the corporate world. It was like I had a lot of it, although I was confident in my ability at that time, so I would fight it back. But there was a lot of like kind of stones thrown at me because I didn't have a traditional education, and I didn't allow it to be a limiting factor, but it really easily could have been. And was there anything in your guys' business doings that you guys have kind of caught yourself with that, or you always kind of push through that with a confidence? Like I didn't really let that be a problem for me, but it is for a lot of people.
Say it shorter, because I was listening to like everything you're saying.
Meaning like if you're in a room with a lot of like highly educated college, MBA, master's degrees, like a lot of times I used to think about that before I'd go to these meetings, because I'm like, look, I know these guys have X, X, and X, but I'm not, because I know more about what we're about to talk about than every one of them motherfuckers do. So I wouldn't allow them to push me around, I guess, intellectually because of that. But I think that does happen to a lot of people when they think, well, I don't have as high education as this person, so almost like that person's automatically dominant. But in my case, because of the business I was in, a lot of it is application and practitioner based. And motherfucker, I know way more than all these people do.
Right.
So I never let it be, but that is a limiting factor for a lot of people. That's why I wanted to voice it. And I didn't know if you guys had experienced that at all.
I'll let John go first.
Yeah, I know. I think that thought came into my head, and when it came into my head, and I'm dealing with these big companies trying to say you should give me 7 figures and take it from your TV budget. Obviously, I'm dealing with big time executives, but I knew that I had to be so much better and so much more informed on my numbers and my research to combat that, right? Because they could always use that as my Achilles heel if I chose to put it out there. But if I'm more well informed, and if I know my subject so much better, then they could try. But if they try, they're gonna get it flipped on them, right? They're gonna have egg on their face because they're trying to come at the personal fabric when I'm talking business, right? If I'm talking business and you can't hang with me on the numbers or on the research, how the fuck you going to come at me on my education? Because clearly my lack of education has me at a level higher than you on all the things that theoretically matter in business. So how are you going to come at me that way? So I knew that. So I just fucking dove into the numbers and the research. And I was like, I'm never going to be in a room where there's someone that knows more than me about the subject we're talking about.
So your preparation has beat that being a limiting factor, John.
Oh yeah, I mean, Cory, you've seen it. And when we're doing deals, like I literally feel, and I might be cocky, I probably am cocky, but I literally feel always like, all right, watch this motherfucker, like just watch this, because I don't need to think about it. It's like muscle memory, you know what I'm saying? But I knew that wasn't just given to me. I knew I had to develop that because I did not get the formal education that these other people did.
Yeah, pass the mic over here. Let's go.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like on the same wave that John is on, and even when I'm in these meetings now, you have a bunch of people who happen to have more education, and I don't knock it, but one thing I do. It like John is that if I'm going into a room and I know it's going to be a serious conversation with people who are educated and experienced, I make sure that I define and outline what it is that I know, and I speak to it very well, and I speak to it in depth to let the person know across from me that I'll take your ass in the ocean and drown you in this shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't, you out in the middle of the ocean with me on this because, this is the shit I know. But I'm also humble enough to say, hey, these are the weaknesses that I have or things that, I may not be aware of or other places. So I practice a level of like cocky humility, you know what I'm saying? Like cocky about the shit I do.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Cocky about the shit I do know. But I'm open because, this guy across from me can teach me something that he can help to improve the processes. But when it comes to my shit and it comes to what we're talking about, like if you said, let's talk about the mental health recovery space, man, fuck you. I own this space, from understanding what to do now as far as, is putting all of this stuff together and keep on moving forward and growing what we're doing. That stuff will come in due time. But knowing because I've experienced, I've been in it, I see how it operate, I live it, I sleep it, I breathe it, and I don't care if you have 55 degrees, 55 clinical licensures, and everything else. I can talk the talk with you. I can relate to the people. I understand operations. I understand the administrative point. I understand payroll, finances, and everything that basically goes with the business in every aspect of it. Insurance companies and everything that you can possibly do, self-pay. It doesn't even fucking matter. I know it. But I'm also humble enough to learn. But I'll tell you what I do know, just so you won't minimize or talk down or think less of me. You'll say, okay, this guy's informed, so we have to have an intelligent conversation to move this thing forward. And so, me also, to be honest, I don't really give a fuck either. You know what I'm saying? I'll be sitting across the, I don't give a fuck what these dudes think about me. Look, dude, this is what we talking about. This is my shit. Can we do something? Can we learn? Yes or no? And that's kind of like my attitude, but I do it in a very respectful way. But like, if you don't have, and John, you know this because I hear you talking about it. That's why, I love you, man. If you don't have fucking supreme confidence, my man, man, don't even walk in the fucking door. You know what I'm saying? You go on a rock something, you go into an event, you go into a meeting, you're supposed to prepare your ass off. Like they say, preparation diminishes fear. When you prepare, you don't give a fuck. It's whatever. I'm ready to go. What's going on? We about to talk about this. And you have to believe and transfer that belief to that person who you're talking to, that this is what we're about to make happen. This is why it's good. This is why I'm enthusiastic about it. Because if you're not excited about what you're talking about, people are not going to get excited and believe in you. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm just rambling right now, but I'm just thinking about.
No, but you speak with conviction and confidence, and people want to be with
people
winners.
Want to be with fucking winners. I don't care if it's to do fucking winning the hacky sack, not the hacky sack. What's those things? Cornhole. You know what I'm saying?
You're providing them comfort, right? When you look in someone's eye, right? I always say, I don't really say it to myself anymore, but I used to. I'm going to lock onto your eyes. If I'm in there for 4 hours, I'm going to lock onto your eyes for 4 hours. I will not blink. And what I'm doing just by that action, forget my words for a moment, but by locking onto someone's eyes, staring them dead in the eye, I'm telling them not only that I'm confident, but what I'm giving them is a sense of comfort. So when I leave, there is absolutely no way they're not going to go to their boss or their peer executive and say, hey, man, we got to go with that motherfucker. That motherfucker is on another level. Because all of a sudden in business, guys, you become their guy because you make them feel comfortable. They can feel comfortable that they are making the best decision by going with somebody who literally stares them in the eye for 4 hours. You find me someone who could stare you in the eye when they're talking business for 4 hours, and I'll give you $1 million, right? It's hard to do, but it's those little things along with knowledge. Obviously, you have to have knowledge and you have to have research and you have to be prepared. But those two things, man, I'm telling you right now, you make people feel confident and comfortable with you, and then they want to bring you in as fast as possible.
I think this was great takeaways for people, because I think as we're leading them through the process, one of these things we're about to hit, because we've all experienced a little bit of all this stuff, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, when that comes into mind, I can attack it this way. When that comes to mind, I can attack it this way. One of the other things I hear a lot is, which we talked a little bit about, distractions and drama and relationships, and that does have a lot to do with it, but also outside talk and haters and things of that nature. Because a lot of people, I know the guys here, we've learned over time how to push that stuff out and really not pay attention to it. But I don't know if it's always been like that. It hasn't always been like that for me, but I'd like to hear your guys' take on that, and how can some of these people like kind of push that out? Because whether it's family, whether it's a friend, whether it's a person that doesn't even know them that's coming on, because we got social media we're dealing with, people coming on different people's accounts and doing these things. Like, I'd be really interested to hear just like how you guys mentally process kind of that kind of distraction.
I got one question for everybody who gets distracted by that. How's it going to help you? How is it going to help you?
There you go.
To worry about what others think, right? Like in business and in success and in progressing yourself as an individual, you know, there's pluses and there's minuses. So until somebody can come to me and tell me how it's going to help them to get caught up in fucking gossip and bullshit and pussy shit, I just have one question for you. How's it going to help you? Because if it's not helping you, right, it's got to be doing the opposite. It's got to be hurting you or holding you back. So if you can understand, if you can run that question on yourself in questionable behavioral situations, if you can ask yourself, how's it going to help you? And if you don't have an answer, then my answer to you or my advice to you is, this hurting you? So it may sound simple, and I don't want to minimize people who struggle with that, because I know a lot of people do, but I really do believe it can be that simple if you choose to look at it that way.
Maurice, with a guy like you that had been, you know, something fucked up happened, you're on ESPN, and the thing with the NFL and all the things when you were a kid, like, how did you, and I don't know that you dealt with them at that period of time, but how did you eventually really get past what the public opinion might have been of number 13 or Maurice Claret, or you know what I'm saying?
I got a small saying again. Working in a space to understand this, and Coach Trussell would always say this: control what you can control, and the opinions of others is something that you can't control, and that's sort of one space. So that's step one: understanding that you control what you can control. But two, it always comes back to you. Everything circles back to the origination, and it's, why are you making your ears available for that gossip, right? Ooh. And so if you don't, like right now today, my schedule for my day today is tight, right? It's so tight that I'm going to naturally miss so much gossip, so much bullshit, so much stuff that has nothing to do with me, because I've cared about my life enough to develop plans on a daily basis. And so back to the listener, like, fuck the person who's gossiping about you. What are you doing every day to occupy your time to get to your desired destination? And understanding you can control everything that you implement into your day. You can control the things that you listen to. You can control the people that you're around if you just craft out your day. And if you're around gossiping motherfuckers, then you're gonna be around and stay around motherfuckers who gossip because you've like consciously made the time and made yourself available for them, right? And please remember this, right? Like, just because you've been friends with somebody for a long time doesn't necessarily mean that you have to spend your life with them or every idle moment. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are friends based upon circumstance because, your mother lived on that side of town, his mother lived on that side of town. You grew up, went to the same school, and, up until the age of 18, you had the same focuses and the same interests because you had the same environment, right? But as you grow and go and you surpass 18, like, hey, the guy may be cool with you. You may have known each other for forever, but your destinations in life and your commitment to what you want to do may be totally different. And that doesn't make this guy not your friend, but when your interests aren't aligned and you're not equally yoked within the same thing, you just will naturally go, or you're supposed to go where you're supposed to go. But sometimes people make time for people who have nothing to do with their lives. And the moment you take that serious and the moment you take the understanding that you control what you control more serious, that shit is over. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got dudes I've been fucking came up with since I was kids. But hey, you do different shit than I do because you want a different life. I'm not better than you, but I care about my future enough. And so when I started getting those understandings, 23, 4, 5, 6, and 7, I just start being more conscious of understanding I can control what I can control. And people talking shit has no effects on me doing the actual work to get what I want out of life. And also, man, just controlling my schedule and dialing into my schedule, like, that controlling your schedule is everything, man. I think we should do a whole fucking thing on that. Just fucking controlling your daily schedule and you having intention on why are these things in my daily schedule, knowing that I can control it and just fucking being able to clean up your life.
Yeah, I like that, Reese. I think that the control what you can control is huge. And I think if it roots from there. See, my thing was like, everything I did around personal training early on was all about helping people, right? Then once I got bigger in business and then the social media era started happening, there was people, talking stuff about me that didn't know me. I was always used to everybody knowing me and they've had interaction with me at the business level. And then once you get to a certain level, no one really, the average person doesn't really know you, right? They might know or see what happens on social media. And so when people started doing that to me, it was really strange for me at first. I'm like, wait a second, this motherfucker don't know me. Like, the things they're saying aren't true. And so I used to be like, man, but how can I change their opinion? Well, what I started to realize is that you can't change their opinion. That at the end of the day, it's usually their insecurity, right? And when I started processing it, like, I'm secure in what I'm doing, what I'm putting out, and how I operate with intentions and integrity. If they're thinking something else, that's probably rooted in because they didn't try to live their dream or do what they wanted to do, or they didn't like something has to do with them, right? Or they just took something wrong with me, and I can't really control that. And the second way I used to process is like, those motherfuckers, I always bring it back to my kids, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm grinding for that next generation and them, and I'm like, what they say, if that affects my productivity because I'm worried about what some fucking idiot's saying I don't even know, then to me, I'm less effective and I'm not getting it done. Like, they're not paying my kids' college. They're not paying for hopefully to invest in maybe one of my kids' businesses that they want to do to live. Like, they're not paying for that. They're not making it happen. Like, there's nothing that benefits me by giving that any power. And so that's what I had to try to like work in my head, because I think, honestly, I feel like I've always I'm trying to lead with being like super nice guy and do all these things, and it doesn't matter. That doesn't cure that, because at the end of the day, if enough motherfuckers know about you and you're ruffling feathers and you're disruptive and you do things different and you're always on on this grind, and people they're just it makes them insecure about their own shit because they're too lazy or whatever the case is. And I just really had to like kind of rationalize in my head so I wouldn't give it no power. Because I used to, and it used to bother me. And I used to be like, because everybody not everybody. I like to be liked. Like, I like to think that people like me because I try to operate in a certain way. But I had to really get past that like, hey, that you cannot control how that other person feels, especially when they're a keyboard warrior anyway, and that's just the way it is. And it took me a little while to process that. That wasn't real natural for me.
Dude, I think it's like this, Cory, like we were talking about before the show. I learned this the hard way, but it was the great way, right? Like we were talking about when I was running shit in the UFC, every motherfucker hated me.
They all hated John, boy.
Much because they couldn't figure out my strategy, right? They were chasing a different dollar than I was, and they didn't even know it. And I was stacking my chips why they couldn't eat, and nobody could figure out how I was doing it. So there was dudes everywhere that I had no clue who they were. That all I heard was honestly this violent, vitriolic language that, Cory, you remember Gary Alexander when he talked about that phone call? He called that dude. He said he was working with me and you, and the dude spent 2 hours just violently attacking me, and we wanted to give this guy money, and he couldn't even understand that we were going to pay him something because he hated me so much, and I didn't even know him. Okay, so
because you were beating him at his own game. That's the fucking deal.
That's my point. At the end of the day, people who hate, guys, they're flattering you. And if you can look at it that way, that these people are spending their time focused on you while you are focused on achieving goals, you are winning. And shit talkers only have power if you give it to them. So do not give it to them. Keep winning and let them keep talking. And if you hear about the talk, say, oh, that's not shit talk. That's flattery. Because that's what it is.
Yeah. Well, and if you give it power too, it makes them relevant, and that's honestly what they want. No one, check this out. People, the worst thing possible is a hater that no one fucking cares about. Like, they're irrelevant. They're trying to get a rise and they don't get it. Yep. The irrelevancy, it eats them out way more than you say, man, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. If you give it any power, then you're just that's what
reaction
they want.
is weakness.
That's just it. Reaction is weakness. I like that, man. I need to come up with some fucking quotes. I've been reading a lot too. I need to keep track of the ones I've been tweeting, because I've been tweeting some fucking fire, Reese, and I've been seeing you've been tweeting some fire, John. It's your turn. You need to start getting on Twitter.
If you want to hear John Fosco, come to Business and Biceps, boy.
Yeah, it's been Reese has been out there putting out some fire, so I've been trying to battle him a little bit. We've been rap battling, but he didn't know it. He didn't know it. Hey, we got to wrap this up because a bunch of us got other business things we got to roll to. Is there anything lastly that you guys would want to kind of riff on this topic? Just kind of closing it up. I'll start with you, Reese.
Man, care about your life enough to design your day. That's it. Care about your life enough that you design your day in a sense that you will achieve what you're trying to achieve. That's it.
Believe that what you love, not no one else, what you love is possible to do every day of your life, and to ultimately become a career or whatever you make it. Believe it, and you will achieve it. Straight up. Yep.
Don't let these limiting factors hold it back, right, fellas?
Yes, sir.
Here's what I want to say is that we are no different than you as the listener. We all battle, some battle more than others in these certain topics, but we're all human beings. We're all going to run through stuff that's difficult. And what I try to do, and everybody's been doing, is being honest about those things and what the nature of them are, because when we've been trying to do on this podcast is let everybody know that we all kind of start in the same spot, right? And that you got to work through these things over time. And in my case, it's been 20 years. John's, close to that. Same with Reese. We all been doing these things and operating and going through this stuff for a long time. And so if you're 20 years old, listen to this, you're going to have a lot of life things that are going to hit you. And hopefully with the material that we're giving you guys, that can help you kind of operate through some of these things. And it's I'm gonna end with one of my tweets that I just threw out. I never cared a lot what people thought, because most of my life people really didn't understand what I was trying to do. And honestly, once I understood that they really couldn't get down with it anyway, just because they didn't really understand what I was trying to pursue, that kind of helped me with not having expectations or really worrying about what other people said. So, look, you guys are listening to the Business and Biceps. We just brought the fire today. I want to make sure you guys give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, only a positive comment, and listen. The quotes have been dropping out of John Fosco and Maurice Clarett like crazy. If there's a special one you like, leave it in your comment. Like, we want to know what you guys like. Like, we read them. John reads them every day. He's always like, yo, did you check out that comment? This motherfucker said something about our audio. We better get that shit together. Look, we read them. Yeah, so please make sure you guys leave comments on iTunes, 5-star rating. Of course, this episode is brought to you by Robinhood. We want to make sure you go to biceps.robinhood.com and get you a free share of either Apple, Ford, or Sprint. You must download the Robinhood app. It's amazing with no trading fees. We love Robinhood and we all use it. Also, maxupformuscle.com. If you haven't tried the product yet, you got to, because we built the whole podcast early on about stories for Max Up for Muscle, about the branding. We got the Ronda Rousey line getting ready to drop here this week, and John, I'll hand it off to you for Podcast Influencer.
Yeah, you guys hear what we're doing, and it's sharing our experiences, and so many of you have experiences that you can share. And if you guys share a similar goal to us, and that's straight up helping people, then start a podcast, man. Start a podcast in any category you want. And there's people out there that can help. So we believe in the platform. We believe in the accessibility. And that's why we recently launched podcastinfluencer.com. Again, if you want to start a podcast, if you are a podcaster, or if you are a company that wants to get involved in the action and get the fuck out of radio, because nobody belongs there, come to podcastinfluencer.com, check us out, and we will guide you in the right direction. Fact.
Guys, can the podcast be stopped?
There's no way!
The podcast can't be stopped!
What's that?
I ain't no joke. I used to let the mic smoke. Now I slam it when I'm done and make sure it's broke. When I'm gone, no one gets on, cause I won't let nobody press up and mess up the scene I set. I like to stand in the crowd and watch the people wonder, damn. But think about it, then you understand. I'm just an addict, addicted to music. Maybe it's a habit. I gotta use it, even if it's jazz or the quiet.